I don't know who's on the other side of the screen, but I'd like to say hello once again. Thank you for joining me. Greetings from Savoia, somewhere in Alentejo, some further south than most of you, as I've been hearing from where you are, some of you. And thank you for attending. And I really would like to thank you, Api, for having me once more and for organizing this event. And a special thanks to Sonia, Fredinge, and Alberto, who had been excellent partners on my journey as a teacher. They never failed supporting me, helping me, and answering all my doubts when I had some kind of doubts. Okay. Like Sonia said, I started a few years back. I was still studying at FLUP. I started on this project called STEPS, which was a project between Faculdade de Letras da Universidade de Porto and Câmara Municipal de Porto. And they started implementing this primary English. So I started what nowadays is recalled as IX. So I started the IX, then I moved to Ensino Público, private sector as well, and I also teach adults. So it's been a long journey. So because I don't see your faces, I don't know what's going on, I asked Sonia to help me out set a poll. So Sonia, can you please do that so I can know who's on the other side of the screen? Thank you, Sonia. So can you please say who you are, if you are very young learners, teacher, or just young learners? When I say very youngers, I say pré-primária, so sala dos 2, 3 anos até 5 years old. And how long have you been teaching? 1 to 3 years. So are you a newcomer, or have you been here around quite a lot? And also, do you teach in the private or public sector? I confess this is just curiosity, okay? So if you can just take like 30 seconds, 1 minute to answer these questions.
Already answering. Almost
okay,
80% of people.
Fatima, it's on the poll on the screen, but thank you for letting us know on the chat.
Yeah. Okay. We still have some seconds.
Oh, from Guimarães.
Guimarães, yeah. Okay. I think almost everyone has answered.
Oh, I've been to Palmela.
So can I close the poll now, Filipa?
Yes, please. I'm just enjoying all the comments that are popping up on my screen, so I have some feedback. Okay. So the most of you are young learners, teachers, not so much as preescolar. Okay, very good. And wow, most of you have been around for a while now, 8 or more years. But we also have newcomers, okay? And most of you also teach in the public sector. Okay, those are good news, I think. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing your life with us at this moment. In this session, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep on going back to my notes because I cannot have my screen showing my notes. In this session, we will be on celebration mode, of course, because celebrations are an important part of our lives, yours and mine as well. Although I might say, and I keep on saying this since October, I'm not counting this year as a birthday year for me, okay? So I'm still the same age I was last year, not counting this year. I don't know about you, but if I don't celebrate my birthday, which was in October, I'm not going to count it. Okay, and I also asked Sonia to help me to set up a Padlet so you can tell me what do you usually celebrate as a person, but also as a teacher. So I appreciate your collaboration.
Okay.
And if you can just add up comments to the Padlet so we can see what do you usually celebrate.
You just need to click on the link that I've shared on the chat box.
Okay.
And you just have to click on the plus icon.
Oh, you're cool. You're one of mine. Sorry, Sonia.
It's okay.
Carla, it's on the background.
Wait. They can't see it because I'm just sharing with you. Wait, okay, now it's here. Okay. Sorry. Okay, someone is already sharing something.
Okay. So now everything is happening. Your
Yeah.
birthday, okay, Christmas is a must.
Halloween.
Birthdays,
Day.
Christmas, Easter, festivals and festive days, Children's Day, Thanksgiving. Yeah, we've come to celebrate Thanksgiving a lot in Portugal in the last couple of years. It's become quite popular among us. Pancake Day, I read Pancake Day, Earth Day, okay, European Day of Languages, Christmas, Thanksgiving, okay, Christmas and birthdays, Halloween. I was trying to move the screen, but you're in control, Sonny.
Yeah. Okay, I will try to.
Thanksgiving, Halloween, Children's Day, Carnival, Easter, okay. Being alive and healthy. I don't know who wrote that, but on this special year, yeah, it's a given. It's so good to be alive and healthy, especially healthy nowadays.
And celebrate each day.
Yeah, your children's birthday, Thanksgiving, Pancake Day, okay, Halloween,
Okay.
St. Patrick's.
So do you want
language acquisition? I wonder, how do you celebrate language acquisition? Well, I'm going to talk a bit about it. I don't know if you do the same activities that I do, but we can share at the end with the Q&A. End of the school year. Okay, end of the school year is a favorite, but it's also like a 2-year drop event, like when you're celebrating the kids going away when they finish the 4th grade and they just move on to another phase of their school life. Okay.
Okay.
My children, can you go back?
Sorry.
I saw something very nice. My children, my husband. I like the order. My children, my husband. Lost it. Okay.
Sorry, there's so many.
Never mind. No, never mind.
Do you want me to stop sharing?
I can access this afterwards, right?
Yes, you can. You can.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for helping out, Sonia. Okay,
You're
now
welcome.
It's my time to share. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's see if this works. Okay, and present a view. Okay, so that's the title. It's party time. Let's celebrate teaching children. And it's also Appy's NEP birthday. Okay, so schools have a lot. Why isn't this working? Okay, I need to do it with the mouse. So schools have a lot of celebrations going on and happening, and a lot of them are already on Plannen while the TV that everyone is trying to make us as English teachers, as the cool teachers, participate. And we do a lot of celebratory within our classes, so within our 4 walls, but also outside. But we also live in a multicultural world. And for once this year, I have more than one nationality in my classroom. One of the examples that I bring to you today is that I have a class that has 4 different nationalities. So we have Portuguese, we have Swiss, we have German, and we actually have an English girl already that joined us. Okay, so this year's project, I've decided that instead of celebrating not only Halloween, Thanksgiving, and so on, we are also going to celebrate the language, their mother tongue, because not all of them speak Portuguese, and it's important to show students, show learners that we care about them as well. So what I'm going to do with them this year is a kamishibai, which is a Japanese paper theater. Okay, it's a play that they will have to write and present it in this kind of special way, and they will build their own story. And because I wanted to make it more interesting, I found out that Direção Geral de Educação has a competition. I never heard of it, only this year. So they have this competition, and they set it up in categories. So we have 3 to 6 years, 6 to 10, 10 to 15. So if you are teaching young learners, or if you are teaching very young learners, you can, and if you are willing to, you can either apply. I'm not sure if the deadline is finished or not. Sorry, I didn't check that. You can apply, or you can simply do the project within your classroom. Okay, so the idea is simply create a story that has to make sense and it has to have at least 4 different languages. And if you go to Kamishibai Plurilingua project website, you will find examples from previous years. I also brought one example. I'm not sure if you will be able to see it properly, but it's about it's a Kamishibai done in a Greek school, and the story is entitled Souvenir, and this is one of the drawings. So this is a 3 to 6 year old category. This is one of the drawings, and it has the word love in different language. It has love in English, Greek, Albanese, Arabic, French, Chinese, and Russian. Okay, and I think this is it might be difficult in some schools to set up because you need the materials, and you also need to tell students, now you draw, now sanitize your hands, now this is going to the next colleague, and so on. So you do need to sanitize because of all the regulations nowadays. You need to sanitize your hands quite a lot, and you need to wash your hands quite a lot. But this will enable all the students to participate and see part of their language, their culture in their work. Okay. We also celebrate national and cultural holidays, and when doing it, and I'm going back to what Vanessa said earlier this morning, we need to go back to the basics and remind us that whatever we do, we should not only have fun teaching, but we also should make sure that our learners learn something by the end of the lesson. And one way to make them interested and make them responsible for their own learning is making sure that they are planning, they are contributing to it, and they're executing it as well. Okay, I'll give you another example. I also teach 9th graders, and I told them, because someone approached me and said, would you like to help decorate the library at the school? And I said, well, I'm not going to do it, but I can ask some of my students. So I went to my 9th grader class and I said, would you like to decorate the library? And all of a sudden they were making plans not only to decorate the library, but also the entire school. And I told them, well, I like your enthusiasm and I like your ideas. However, you need to make sure that you will be the ones responsible for setting everything up and make sure that things happen. It's not me that is going to cut the stars, paint whatever, draw drawings, draw to put things on the windows and so on, because they had like this crazy ideas I never expected. So sometimes students do surprise us, and I never expect their enthusiasm, but they were like, no. And they were planning, and they actually sent me an email with their material lists, the things they need to set up what they thought about doing it. So they are involved. Of course, you might say, yeah, but those are teenagers. They are. But you can also do this at primary level. You can ask your students to help you. And if they are willing to help you, but they don't actually get the idea because it's too abstract for them, or it's making them feeling confused about what's the plan, ask parents for help, because most of the times parents will help you and appreciate your job and appreciate what you're doing inside the class. Okay. Whatever you do, don't forget that children need to be the driving force behind whatever you're doing. And they are the driving force when we listen to them, when we listen to what they have to say, but also when they share their ideas and they interact, not only among themselves, but also with us. When they realize that we listen, and sometimes we're like, yeah, that's a good idea, never going to happen, but it's a good idea, okay? We can say, you can give that positive feedback to the child, and he will be happy. And then we'll explain, it's a good idea. However, the person in the canteen cannot cook 150 chocolate cakes, okay? So when we share, when we listen, and when we interact and give space to our students to share the ideas, it can make a huge difference in our classes. And also, don't forget that while celebrating, we are breaking barriers, because a celebration is something that is more relaxed, more informal. So you will get to know your students in a different environment. You get to know your students and even the school community in a different light than you normally would used to. Okay, and thinking about all this, I brought this quotation from a fellow teacher that I actually relate a lot to. She says, Mary Beth Harrison, Edutopia, if you don't follow, please follow Edutopia. It's a great website. It gets lots of ideas, lots of food for thought. She says, I look at my classroom as a boat, taking kids to a destination, but some kids fall off, and throwing them a floating ring isn't enough. We have to jump in and swim with them, sharing their journey and hopefully get them back on the boat. And this resonates also with something that Romelu said this morning. We need to go back. We need to make sure that everyone is in our classroom is learning something. Everyone feels that they are part of something greater than them. They need to feel that they belong. It doesn't matter if they have problems with other teachers or there's something else happen outside and they are in a bad mood. When they come to the English class, they need to feel they belong, that they have someone there that listens to them. And we need to make sure that every single child is on board. And they need to learn something. They need to be able to share. They need to be able to have someone that listens to them, because everyone likes talking and everyone likes to have some feedback. Okay, especially in moments like this where I would like to have some feedback, but I'm talking to my screen. So feedback is important and students miss it. Okay. Now, moreover, not only should we celebrate national holidays and British holidays, we also should be celebrating our learners' learning projects. Some of us, most of us probably have events to show the learners work off. So we can set up exhibitions, we can set up their works of arts, we can have them acting as guides for their parents or for other classes, depending on, again, this would be in a perfect non-COVID world, okay? We need to adapt this. But if they have their own parents, and if parents can come to school, maybe they can act as guides showing the drawings of the class to their parents, okay? Nowadays, with all the technology, most of the kids, at least the ones I know, they all have some kind of mobile phone. They can record their voices when they are doing some work, when they are presenting themselves or doing a show and tell. They can record their voices. We don't need their faces, okay? They can just record, or if the parents or the school allows, we can have videos of their work. So it's not just paper anymore. We can go digital, and when we go digital, we can share online, of course, in this private network. Most of the schools have their own network nowadays, so we can publish their works to this private network. So that will keep the kids' work and the kids safe, but also will enable kids to share their work with their families. And remember that celebrating is a powerful way to get children to stop and appreciate their work instead of just rushing to the next thing. I don't know about you, but when I started a few years back, I sat on this Plano Anual de Atividades meeting, and after they discussed everything and they turned into English, and English was an IAC, and they said, okay, now you have Halloween, you need to set up Halloween, and then we need something for Christmas, and then it was all about the teachers' needs, what the school needed to show to the parents. Not what the kids wanted to show, not what I wanted to do. It was all about showing off. And showing off can be a very good thing. You can show off your students' work and they can be happy about it. But do it because it makes sense, not because someone is putting pressure on you to do it, just because you need to fill in the Plano Anual de Atividades or something like that, okay? Because sometimes and I had a colleague of mine saying this, it looks like we spend a lot of time going from one celebration to another celebration to another celebration. And the kids in the end, they don't learn anything. They just learn the song that they are going to sing in the Festa Final do Ano or Festa de Natal or whatever. So we need to be careful with this. Okay. Teachers should also celebrate everyday achievements. Okay, every single day something happens in each and every class that is worth celebrating. I'll tell you, this year I have a Gonçalo, and it's like there's never a lesson that I get into the classroom when he starts going complaining about something. My objective for the year is to have a lesson that boy will come in my lesson and will have nothing to complain about. I don't tell him that's my goal, but when he does that, I will give you a sound round of applause, because there's not a single lesson, and I've been teaching since September, that he doesn't come and he complains or nags about something. So that's my objective for him. I don't tell him, but that's my plan. Okay. So we can celebrate when a student says a vocabulary word that he or she has been struggling with for the past week or so. We can celebrate when when you set up groups and they use English, and there's always, and I'm sorry, but there's always a group that uses more English than the other ones. So why don't we say that? Congratulations, you did a good job. You spoke English the longest, okay? I'm not sure about your position on homework. Personally, I don't give homework. But if they hand in the homework, all of them hand in the homework, that's a good thing. That means they were engaged. That means they tried to do it. It's also special this year. It's also a reason to celebrate when they all come into the class, because sometimes we have a kid going missing for 14 days and then he comes back and another one goes. So having everyone, all the class inside the classroom, is a great thing to celebrate nowadays. And if you have one of those noisy classes, you can also celebrate the silent mode. You can, for instance, you can use the quiet critters, and if they don't hide because there's a lot of noise, you can let students take the critters away with them to show their parents that they behaved good, that they were quiet, and so on. And we can always celebrate all these things by giving them stickers. Most of the course books have stickers. Most of you spend money on stickers. I know that, I'm one of you. Or even certificates, if you can print it out, or even if you have a digital classroom, then you can just send the PDF with the certificates, or even a round of applause or a pat on the back. Students like that. Although it's not very safe to do that anymore, but in the good old days, a pat on the back would be also something that students appreciate. And also what I hope that you take away from this is we spend a lot of time focusing on the errors of the learners. We spend a lot of time saying what they do wrong, correcting the mistakes, correcting behavior. But think about how powerful it would be if we change our mindset and seek what is good and what they are doing right and recognizing it, rather than focusing on what they are doing wrong. Because I bet if you spend 8-9 hours listening to someone saying, sit down, be quiet, you forgot to do this, you didn't do this right, blah, 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 you're not happy anymore. You don't enjoy school, and you don't enjoy learning. And it's just one day after the other. I'm pretty sure even that student that gets you nuts will have something good, will be able to do something well for you to recognize it. You just need to look. Sometimes it's quite an acquired taste, and it takes a lot of time to find something good, but you will find it as long as you as an adult don't quit. Okay, so if you spend the class looking for things to celebrate, you will find them. And now we are going to focus on what we can celebrate in the class. Most of you said celebrate special moments such as birthdays. That's true. But also keeping memories, it's important. If you've been to my sessions, you know that I'm a crazy person. I love memory boxes, and I also build them with my kids. For instance, you can ask, and I ask parents to bring photos of their child's life. Important milestones, for instance, the first time they went to the beach, the first time they went to the park, and we have this sharing moment. If you can have the mother or the father there telling, okay, to the other class, to appreciate the story of life of that child, even better. If not, they can send you and you can show them, oh, look, this is Susanne. This is the first time she went to the beach. Look how lovely she looks. Do you remember when you went for the first time to the beach? So you get the kind of dialogue. And then you might tell me, well, yes, but they don't have that level of English. They might not, but if they understand the question, if they understand why you are asking, you have communication flowing, and this is what's important, okay? And you can also make a collection of photos, pictures of an object, in a special celebratory box. Just keep a box of your class in your class and just add things. Okay, when they behave. And most of us, we always take pictures. I mean, most of the schools nowadays, they have Facebook pages, Instagram pictures, Instagram accounts, and they publish all kind of things. So it's very easy to start collecting things to create memories for the kids. Okay, and it's also important when we are doing this, when we are creating memories or when we are bringing back memories, it's always a good idea to talk about feelings and why is it or that event was important. Okay, thinking about the memory box, we start by using, like I said, a picture, some flowers or something, and then we can ask students or tell students, remember that time when we celebrated Halloween? Remember, what did we do? And they will say, we did bats. They don't say we did, well, at least mine don't. Bats, pumpkins, and oh, we cut those things. They will have a memory. And we can help the students to talk when we show them the items. So it's a bit of show and tell, and show their own creations, their own memories. Okay, and while we are doing this, we can introduce new vocabulary. They tell us their words, and if they don't remember, we remind them, and they tell us things, and we help them to reply to us. And also we can use positive words like happy, wow, exciting, surprise, laughing, smiling, and hug. So all the kind of words that you normally associate with celebration. Okay. One thing is important is to avoid the yes or no answers. I know it's difficult, especially with young learners or very young learners, but we need to get some more feedback than yes or no. So we can ask about, what do you think of that? What do you think that means? What do you think? Why do you think that? Sorry, what would you do if? What does this do? What have you talked about so far? So we can ask children and involve them in the discussion and actually let them try to tell more than just one or two words. Moving on, we should also encourage learners to pass on good news to family and friends and celebrate. Why don't we take the time to listen to what they did? I don't know about you, my students, every Monday, they have a lot of things to tell me. What they did, what they didn't, if they stayed at home, if grandma is well, if she got sick, grandpa, and so on and so forth. They have a lot of things to say. So why don't we celebrate what they also do at home? If they make a sandwich, if they were able to do it by themselves, that's a good thing. That's autonomy. And we should also celebrate autonomy, right? And when they help at home, so get that feedback and integrate it within your classroom. Another way to celebrate difference, multiculturalism, and so on is through holidays such as Christmas. And this year, I never tried this. I'm going to try it. Okay, so this will be a first. This year, I've decided to use Makaton symbols that I learned. It's basically a language program that uses not only symbols, but also signs and speech to enable people to communicate. Okay, so it's not sign language, it's kind of a mix, and you have all the signs there. For instance, if you want to say Santa, you just go like this and you put the bag on the back. If you want to say reindeer, you just go like this. Sleigh, you go like this. Okay, it's different. The gestures are different, but it's also a nice way to make children aware that there are other ways of speaking, other ways of symbolizing things. So it's also a way of making them aware of all the diversity that there is in the world. Okay, I'm not sure if someone is worrying about the slides, but you'll have access to the slides, and at the end you also have the links if you need to go, or if you are curious enough to check and try it out. And if you try it out, please let me know. I will let you know as well. Okay, this will be the first year. So this is all about communication, and we'll carry on talking about celebrating communication. You can celebrate communication like having echo games, like the hello echo game. Someone comes to the classroom, says hello to the teacher says hello to a student, and then it goes on like a domino. Also, our ability to communicate is what makes us unique, and sharing the words with people around us make us feel special because we can communicate. And we also like, and special children also like to talk about themselves, and we can have little icebreakers at the beginning of the lesson. For instance, I got this idea from this Facebook page, which is wonderful, called Materials for English Teachers. So basically you get a ball and you write down a question. There you have an example. Tell us something you did during summer, or tell us something you did during weekend. Okay, and when the kid grabs the ball, you read, or you help him read, you read out loud, and he has to answer. So it's a nice way of sharing and starting the lesson with energy. Another game that I'm pretty sure most of you know already is the Chinese whisper. You say one thing, or a kid says something, and it goes on and on and on and on until the last kid has to say what he or she listened to. Now, I've been trying these two activities to celebrate communication and to get communication flowing. I've been trying these two activities, and I think they are not only funny for adults, but also very interesting to children. So, pointing direction. When you need to point directions, you think, oh, that's easy. Straight ahead, right, left, come back. Okay. Try and tell your kids to give directions from their place to another friend's place, to another colleague's place. How do they get from their table to someone else's table? How do they get from the classroom to the canteen? Get the instruction and then try them out. And then let me know the result, because I promise you, most of the students will not know, or they think they know, but they forget steps. And if they forget steps, there's no communication. And this is an interesting way, in my opinion, to show kids that we need to be very clear when communicating, so the other person understands what we want, or what we want to share. Because if we miss steps, then there's a communication break. Okay. Another way to do this, if you cannot have students going around, is unplugged coding. Okay, I'll give it a go this year because I did this mock on digital competence and I got very excited about it. I'm going to share a video with you. Basically, this teacher gave the students, and they are young learners, a Word file with a table on it. And with arrows, they need to take the the bear to the honey pot. Okay, I'm going to show this to you now.
Your first step is down.
Is this working?
Yes.
Viola, Sonia? Okay, thank you. So, unplugged coding.
Your first step is down.
Now put
then down again.
Get it down.
I like that you're going step by step.
Yeah. That's technically forward, not down. Then now your turn. Next one.
He reached the honey pot. Yeah, yeah. Tester. So wait, point to the code and then move the bear one by one. Gotta test the code.
I'm gonna get two challenging ones, and then turn, and then take a challenging one. There she is.
Did we make it?
Yeah, but she needs to take out the third one.
So she needs to do. So what'd you notice? That she needs to do what?
Take out this third one.
Okay, so now right.
This time we start from here.
Successful coding. The bear gets his honey pot.
Okay, so what we have seen is what the, sorry. Now I'm struggling to show you my PowerPoint. Okay, now here it is. And we were here. Okay, what we've seen is unplugged coding that does not require previous experience with coding or programming. The idea is kids start with a Word document and then they move on to coding on a computer, okay? So I think this kind of activity is quite straightforward. It makes learners think how they get from A to B, and they need to describe all the steps using arrows so they have a successful task. Another thing that you can try with your students is instructions. Sometimes we give an instruction and we break it down and we give it again and we ask another student, say, okay, so now what do you have to do? And that kid will tell, we have to do this, this, and that, and he gets it right. But then when you ask another kid, he will get what? No, I don't know. Okay, so giving instructions is important not only to teachers, but also to students. And you can work this thing around. You can turn the table. You can ask students, well, now it's your turn to give instructions. How do I get from here to here? If you're teaching food, I'm going to show you this video, which is, I think, a blast. And that shows the importance of giving instructions. Okay, and you can explore it with your kids if they are old enough to understand it. But also show them that when the instructions are not well given, then you're not successful. Okay, let me see if I can show you this. Sorry for the ad.
Nova Flora Plant. Se gostas de manteiga, vais adorar Flora Plant.
You're not making any sense. Sorry, you ruined it on purpose.
You know what? I'm hungry. I could really go for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Do you guys think you can write down some instructions and teach me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah. I'm done.
Step 1. Get 2 pieces bread. Get some peanut butter. Take the peanut butter knife. Open the peanut butter. Put the knife in the PB. Get some jelly. Open the jelly.
No.
Squirt the jelly onto the bread. Take the butter knife with the peanut butter on it. Wipe it all over the piece of bread that's blank. Take the butter knife, rub the jelly all over the piece of bread.
Oh, he's doing better.
I'm going to stop. Oops, sorry.
It's all over.
I'm going to stop it now because I'm running out of time, but you get the idea of the importance of giving instructions. Okay, where are you? Sometimes computers are a struggle. Okay, and you get to, now you can see the importance of giving instructions. Sometimes even teachers, we think as teachers that we are giving clear instructions, and the kids are like, no, not really. And the same thing goes to the student side. If you ask them, well, can you give some instructions, make sure that they make them as detailed as they can, because then they are also refreshing and recycling the vocabulary they've heard and they learned before. So we are always making recycling. We are always recycling, sorry. To celebrate communication, we also can do point and tell, for instance, word and image, but we can also ask students to bring photos or whatever of their favorite dress, their lunchbox, and ask them, well, can you describe it? And they say 3-4 things about it. It's blue, it's short, it's sparkly, and so on. Or you can go around the class and do that as well. And then, like Sandy said this morning, picture storytelling, you cannot go wrong with that. Ask also your students to make presentations, like if they have, if you're teaching family or animals or food, maybe they can present their favorite dish, their pets, their family, their favorite family member. Okay, and you can also have things like impromptu, when they don't know they are going to do formal speaking, but they are asked to. And ask them, for instance, you go around the class and you can ask a student, so what are you wearing? And he will tell you what he or she is wearing. So this is kind of spot on. So you shine, that student has the opportunity to shine, and if he succeeds, most of them will succeed because we know who we should ask. Just round of applause and make him feel good about him or herself. Another thing you can do, and I got this from Shen, forgot her last name, at a conference.
Ana Denagi?
No, Shen that works with Sandy. Shen, she's Portuguese, tall, long hair.
Yeah, I know, but I don't remember her last name now.
Oh my God, she's going to kill me. I forgot her last name. Okay, I got this from Shen, and she works a lot with emotions and how to deal with emotions when you are a child. Okay, so I got some ideas. I picked her brain. I got some ideas from her. For instance, you can ask a student when they lose their pencil case or their favorite pencil, how do they feel? Okay, when they are waiting for the school bus, how do that make them feel? So you can explore how they feel in different situations, and you can also use now that idea that Sandy gave us this morning. Put on someone else's shoes. How does that person feel? Or how does the fly feel when she's being squatted by the boy? Or we can choose an emotion, ask the students to draw how they are feeling, show each other and guess the feelings, or mimic emotions, because mimic is also a good thing to do with the students. We can also have a
Santana, right?
Thank you, but she goes by Shanna Santana. Okay, Sandra Santana. Yeah. If you like to read and learn about emotions and emotional intelligence with very young learners, Alexandra Santana is a person to talk to. She's incredible at what she does. We also have the trolley challenge. Well, hopefully if the school has some kind of trolley, you can use it, and then you go around and you pick objects from the class, but the objects belong to your students. So you just go around and you pick items randomly, and then you pick a student or a student volunteers, and they have to say 3 things about it. For instance, you pick a bottle of water. It's water, it's blue, it has a lid, or it's closed. Okay. For telling the time, we can say the time in different way. We can use the American Sign Language. Okay, there are tons of images that help you out how to put your fingers to tell the time. So instead of going, there's a song where you can act like the clock and the kids go like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Instead of using the clock, you can use American Sign Language, for instance. Make them aware there are people that are not able to communicate like we do. And also, while celebrating communication and our abilities to speak, we should also think that words can hurt. And there come times in the lesson then we need to stop and make them think that whatever they are saying might hurt other people. And this is also important to lead our students to reflect on this. Sometimes what they say might hurt someone else's feeling. They might not see anything wrong with it, but the other person feels sad. And it's important also to explore this in the classroom. Okay. Sonia, do I have time?
Yes, I
Okay.
think so. Well,
Okay.
you could, as we don't have any question for now on the question and answer box, so you can have more 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, so so guys, you need to bear with me for 5 more minutes. So moving on from celebrating communication, we also should celebrate people. And you can have 3 different kind of activities. I've tried 2 of them. I tried the special person game, which is basically you ask, well, I used to ask a student or a learner to bring someone special to them to the class, just to say, hello, this is my grandma. Usually they always bring grandpas and grandmas. This is my grandma, this is my grandpa. Sometimes when they have baby sisters or brothers, they bring the babies. Okay, they want to show their family to the class. So you can also have a moment of sharing and of speaking within the class. We should also celebrate the school community. I ask my students, like I said, most of them have mobile phones, to go around the school and take pictures, as long as people allow them to take pictures of the people that work at school, being auxiliares or professors, whatever. People that work at school, they go around and take pictures, and they make either PowerPoint presentations or Canvas or whatever they decide to use. They make it and they just put the name, depending on the year, they just write the information they are able to say about that person. So they put the name. That would be easy for first and second year. Age as well might be a bit tricky because people are older than 12, but they can put the age, the city where that person is from, so they can build up some small phrases about that person that works at school. And this will also enable some of the students to get to know everyone that works in the school, because sometimes they just know the person that greets them in the morning, and they just know the person that works in the canteen. They don't know who works at Secretaria because they've never been to mommy and daddy go to Secretaria, not the kids. Okay, so this is a nice way to get all the community involved. This year, I was approached to try and set up this project, and I haven't tried it, but I'm quite fascinated about it. It's called Human Library. Basically, instead of having books, instead of reading books, you read people. So you invite people to come. Of course, now you can say, well, but we cannot invite, but I'm pretty sure we can Skype or Zoom or whatever. And children just look at that person and ask questions. They might know him or her, or they might not, but they just ask. And basically what you have are informal interviews and stories of life that sometimes are so rich that enable students to grow up and be citizens of the world. Finally, we also have celebrating the town, the place where we live. We can get students to bring pictures of their favorite places in the place they live. Monuments, buildings, houses, their favorite thing. Maybe the favorite thing is a park. Maybe their favorite thing in their own their town is their own house. Okay, so we can do that. Let them bring things that are important to them while speaking in English, because all this enables you to say some things in English, others we might need to help them, but just let them bring stuff into our classroom so we can share all together. Okay, when COVID goes away, hopefully in the next couple of months, we can take a trip around the city of the town and encourage students to take photos. We can also ask when we are working with not so young learners to say, I like my town because it has a restaurant, because it's beautiful, it's green. This is something that we don't think about it. Well, at least I don't think about it. But I had this year 3 girls that wrote me, I like my town because it's green. It has clear water. So sometimes what we give as a given for the kids is special. Okay, all the children, they could interview a parent, a teacher, or a friend and find out what they like about their town, city, village, whatever, and report it back to the class. So there's a bit of sharing, so because most of them don't live in the same town. So there's a sharing in my corner. This is what I like in my town. This is what I like in my part of town. This is what I like. Okay, and I think I'll stop now. Right, Sonia? You tell me. I can go on and on. I can go on.
If you have more to say, well, I don't
they
think
want
we
me
have...
to shut up?
No, you have shared lots of and brought lots of new ideas to celebrate in the classroom. And it's the idea, it's celebrating diversity. Yes, that's for sure. I'm just going to share with you, I'm sorry, but I can't resist to share this link with the song because of how to do a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Okay,
There's a song for it. I don't like
yes,
peanut butter.
and I'm going
like
yes, and it's really funny because they teach and they sing a song, a very funny song with lots of rhythm. It's performed by one of the trainers of National Geographic Learning. She was supposed to be in our conference, but it's not her. Joan Kengxin will be Jodie Crandall on the 5th of December. But it's a really nice song. So if you want to explore the idea of what children in the USA take to school as a snack. Okay, and I really enjoyed that video of instructions. It's really funny, and it makes us reflect that how important are instructions when we try to introduce an activity with children.
Yeah, especially like most of them, they forget that we have stairs in the school. So they just like, you go outside the classroom, you turn right, then you turn left, and then there's a canteen. But there are the stairs between. So how do you, what happens? You just fall on the stairs, and they are like, no, teacher, that's not what well, but you didn't say that there are stairs in the school. So we need to go down the stairs. So sometimes they forget about it.
Yeah, simple things that we take for granted. And then we wonder, oh, what went wrong?
And they're like, well, but we thought that's pretty obvious, because depending on the perspective, what is obvious to us might not be obvious to the other people.
That's right.
So anyway.
So I don't know if anyone has any question to ask Filipa while she's here.
I'll be around. I'm around.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll need to have some social meetings with the speakers after the sessions. Who knows?
Yeah. Someone wrote on one of the Facebook groups that I follow, I miss the lousy coffee at the coffee breaks on the conferences, because this is what we are missing. And if we are missing this contact and we are adults, imagine the little ones.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Filipa, for bringing these ideas, for sharing your ideas with us in this, at the almost the end of this day. So on behalf of Happy and HappyNet, thank you again for joining us. Okay,
Thank
Filipa?
you.
So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
We're just missing one last webinar.
True, Vanessa. Sorry, Sonny. True, Vanessa. The coffee wasn't lousy at Appy's conferences. Okay, I've been some lousy coffee breaks.
At this time, every coffee would be great. Just
It would
if
be
we
great.
could
Yeah.
be together,
agree.
right? It doesn't matter how good is the coffee. We just like to be together, face
Yeah.
to face. So the next webinar and the last one of today will be with Chris Rowland. So we will see you in half an hour, right?
Yes.
So thank you
Half
so
an hour.
much, Filipa, again.
Thank you, Sonia.
See
Thank you,
you.
Willa.
Bye bye.
Thank you all.
See you
Bye.
later. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.